Buster Douglas was fat, am I right?
I know, but you're no Buster Douglas.
I'm better. I'm better.
No,
and I'm gonna end you quicker than he did. Hey, I hope y'all keep that same energy when I knock this old man the out.
So get this, there's some buzz going around that Jake Paul, that YouTuber kid trying to make it as a boxer, supposedly threw some serious shade at boxing legend Mike Tyson. Wild, right? From what I've heard, Jake allegedly called Tyson very overrated and brought up that famous upset loss he had against Buster Douglas way back in 1990 when Douglas took his heavyweight titles. Can you imagine having the guts to call Iron Mike overrated to his face? That's some next-level confidence or delusion from Jake. I mean, Tyson was an absolute wrecking machine in his prime. Dude was knocking fools out left and right with that petrifying peekaboo style. Sure, he had that one shocking loss, but his overall resume and impact on the sport is undeniable. For this cocky upstart like Paul to supposedly mock Tyson's past like that is just disrespectful, you know?
It's been 4 years in this sport, and I've done more to it than any boxer in the history of the sport. So in due time, sir, I will be fighting for a world championship, and I will be shutting you the f*** up and making you eat your own words, just like the rest of these punks.
It reeks of him just trying to stir up controversy and get his name out there by taking shots at one of the all-time greats. I can only imagine the backlash from real boxing heads if, from what I've seen, pretty much anyone who's been around the boxing world has nothing but respect and awe for Mike Tyson's abilities. The guy is an absolute legend. When you really think about it, it's almost laughable for someone like Jake Paul to be bad-mouthing Iron Mike like that. I mean, who is Jake Paul compared to Tyson in the grand scheme of things? He's basically a rookie trying to make some noise. But the real OGs, the ones who have lived and breathed this sport for decades, they know better than to disrespect Tyson's name like that.
He still punch like Mike Tyson. If he hits anybody square on the chin, it's going to be problematic. I don't care who it is.
Dude was a straight-up savage in that ring. With his combo of insane power, speed, and ferocity, he was untouchable in his prime. I can just picture all the veteran boxers, trainers, and fight historians scoffing at the idea of this kid Paul calling Tyson overrated. They've seen firsthand what kind of destroyer Tyson was. Those vicious knockout highlights alone should be enough to shut down any doubters. Even despite that one famous loss to Buster Douglas, which was no doubt a massive upset, true boxing heads still revere Tyson as an all-time great. But before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. They know that on any given night, he could utterly obliterate his opponents with those concussive punches. Oh man, from what it's rumored, Tyson is absolutely fuming over these rumors about Jake Paul disrespecting him. You know, Iron Mike doesn't play when it comes to defending his legacy. Word on the street is that when Tyson first caught wind of Paul allegedly calling him overrated and bringing up that Buster Douglas loss, he was utterly livid. We're talking pure, unadulterated rage. Dude was probably seeing red just picturing some punk kid like Jake running his mouth. And you already know how Tyson responds to anything he perceives as disrespect, by going into straight beast mode. This has him more fired up and motivated than he's been in years from the sound of it. The rumors are that he's been putting in serious work, training like a madman to get himself into proper fighting shape. They're saying Tyson has been logging extra hours in the gym, putting in 2 more hours a day on top of his already insane regimen. At 57 years old, he's reportedly been pushing himself harder than guys half his age, all just to make a point to Jake Paul.
Day 3, you still want to f with me?
The fire has been relit under Iron Mike. From the heavy bag work to sparring and conditioning, Tyson is leaving no stone unturned in preparing for a potential showdown with Jake. He wants to remind this brash youngster just how ferocious and skilled he still is between those ropes. You know that classic Tyson intimidation factor and aura is in full force right now. Honestly, I almost feel a little bad for Jake. He may have awoken a sleeping giant by running that mouth of his. You know what's really wild about all this? I've been hearing some crazy rumors that Tyson and his team have been using some advanced cutting-edge technology to help him prepare for a fight against Jake Paul. From what the whispers are saying, they've gotten their hands on some next-level recovery and anti-aging treatments that are helping Tyson's body basically reverse the aging process.
Okay, give me 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Apparently, they've been working closely with top scientists and longevity experts. The goal is to optimize Tyson's body and rejuvenate his body from the inside out. The word is that these experimental treatments have been allowing Tyson to recover exponentially faster from those grueling training sessions. Dude is supposedly bouncing back from intense workouts within hours, rather than days, thanks to this advanced tech accelerating his healing. But get this, the real mind-blowing part is the rumors that it's not just recovering quickly. People are saying Tyson's muscle fibers, bone density, reflexes, everything is being enhanced and revitalized to mimic his prime years as a boxer in his 20s. You know, as outrageous as it may sound, I can't completely write off Jake Paul's chances if they do end up stepping into the ring together. Hear me out here. While the odds would definitely be stacked against the younger Paul, there are a few plausible scenarios where he could potentially pull off the upset over an albeit rejuvenated Iron Mike. For one, Jake is still in his prime athletic years, whereas even an aging-defying Tyson would be over 50. That natural youthful explosiveness, quickness, and stamina could give Paul a legitimate edge, especially if the fight went into the later rounds. Paul has also been actively competing and staying sharp with consistent pro bouts in recent years. Tyson, on the other hand, hasn't had an official fight in well over a decade, so there's always the possibility of ring rust setting in at some point against the younger, sharper opponent. Another potential X factor is Jake's punching power. The kid has legitimately heavy hands and a decent punch output. If he can keep Tyson at bay with his length and volume while landing some of those big bombs, he could potentially score a flash knockdown or two, because Tyson isn't used anymore to take heavy punches like decades before. All it takes is one well-timed shot to change the whole fight.
Man, I think he's underestimating me. I truly think that. And it's a heavyweight fight, so, you know, he's the bigger man, but I'm the faster man. It's a really interesting matchup, but I believe I have what it takes to beat him. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be the one who gets my hand raised.
I could also see Jake's youthful confidence and mindset playing a role. While Tyson is fighting with that veteran menace, Paul has that brash belief and lack of fear that sometimes gives young fighters an intangible edge in big pressure situations. Now let me be clear, the deck would still be heavily stacked against Jake Paul in this matchup. Tyson was an all-time wrecking machine with a skill set that could negate a lot of those perceived advantages. But weirder things have happened in the wild world of boxing. If Paul can keep it competitive with his speed, power, and self-belief, and if Father Time eventually catches up to Tyson as the fight wears on, and if Jake lands just the right combination of Hail Mary punches, there's an outside chance he could pull off the unthinkable. But come on, let's be real here. We're talking about Mike freaking Tyson. Betting against one of the most ferocious knockout artists in boxing history feels like a losing proposition. When you break it down, Tyson's overwhelming edge and elite-level skills, experience, killer instinct, and that aura of sheer intimidation he carries help tremendously. Dude was one of the most avoided fighters ever for a reason. The way I envision this fight playing out, barring some inconceivable fluke, is Tyson inevitably timing Paul with one of those compact, concussive straight right hands or uppercuts he's renowned for. We're talking blink and you miss it, lights out power punches. So picture it. Tyson stalks Paul behind that menacing peekaboo guard, cutting off the ring and forcing Paul to exchange. Jake tries to keep his distance, maybe even lands a couple flashy combos early. But then Iron Mike starts walking him down, slipping shots with that masterful head movement. Eventually, Paul gets a little too stationary or makes one little positional mistake trying to keep Tyson off him. That's all the opening Tyson would need to absolutely bludgeon Paul with one of those fight-changing thermonuclear shots he's infamous for. We're talking about picture-perfect, short-leverage knockout blows that carry the full brunt of Tyson's destructive power and bad intentions behind them. The kind that instantly separates someone's consciousness from their body on impact. At that point, nothing in the world would be able to save poor Jake from a strong knockout. One perfectly timed pinpoint Iron Mike missile is all it would take to shut off the lights. Tyson and his seemingly supernatural advantages simply have too many A-plus tools in that offensive arsenal. Dude was born with the exact fighting style and mindset to utterly obliterate anyone foolish enough to trade hands with him in his prime. Unless Paul can somehow pull off the most exceptional, luckiest performance of his life.
Yes, sir, that's the one.
This one ends the way most of Tyson's marquee fights did, with his opponent sprawled out on the mat after getting emphatically punched by those infamous iron fists. It's throwback Tyson time. I mentioned many details of this saga, but there's something else very huge that is happening in the wait for this fight. So check out this deep dive where I'll tell you other rumors that are buzzing in the boxing community. You will learn new shocking claims that are attracting people's attention. Click on the screen to watch the deep dive, and thanks for watching this video.